Hello, and welcome to Gold Coin. This is an audio video podcast that I have started. My name is Kathy, and I wanted to take you on the transformation journey that I have been on for quite a while. And I wanted to just really be there for you, to inspire you, to help you, to support you, and just to share my experience. Now, one thing I could say is this: a lot of people go through the same things, and some people go through different things, but a lot of things are so similar. A lot of the feelings, a lot of the just things that we all have gone through, those of us who have been on a transformation journey. There's a lot of people who need to lose weight, and this country, United States, is where I live, and I live in California, sunny California. Actually, today, what is today? Today is Tuesday, April 7th, 2020, and it's raining in Southern California. And so if you hear the pitter patter, that might be what it is. I'm coming to you from my home. Right now, we're experiencing in America COVID-19, or throughout the whole world, should I say. Most people are at home, and they don't have a choice to be at home. Actually, the governors and the president and everybody is saying you need to stay home because this virus is a pandemic and it's spreading. And I have some time on my hands. My profession is really marketing, so I do a lot of websites, and I'm still able to work a little bit for some of the people that I do marketing for, because I can do it remotely, whereas most of the world, they have to just stay home. And it's getting so crucial out here that even last night on the news, they said, hey, don't even go to the grocery store this week, So I just kind of wanted to bring you up to date. You might be listening to this years later, months later, but that's what's happening right now in the world. So I've been wanting to share my journey since maybe last year, 2 years ago, but I've just procrastinated about it. I don't have time. And then a lot of it was because it's so like you have to come out of the depths of your heart and your soul to share your personal story. And even though there is people who do know elements of my story, to share and be transparent and really tell people what you've been through can be, a little, it can cause, you to be like, I don't think I want to do that, because you open yourself up to whatever people want to think about you or say. And that's okay, because most likely most people are not even paying attention to you anyways. And they're going to say what they say or think what they think anyways. And what really brought me to the climax of saying, hey, you know what, I need to share my story was I am almost to my goal weight, and I have a little ways to go. And I came out one day after working out in the shower, and I kind of was crying, because I said, I've been motivated for 4 years to do this journey, and now once I reach my goal weight, like, what's gonna fuel me? What's gonna keep me going? What's gonna keep, you always have to have something that just drives you. I know for myself, now the people who I know have been on a weight loss journey, and that's what this is about, is transformation through weight loss, and even mental, emotional, everything, because everything's encompassed. I know a lot of times you think like, well, hey, just stop eating and lose the weight. But there's so much more to a person, And so all of those elements are combined to make things work or not work. And so I've been driven these last 4 years by this goal weight that I wanted to get to. And some people reach their goal quicker. Some people, they take longer. I actually took longer. I think I could have got there sooner, but I didn't. So, but I'm here now. And I was like, well, what's going to drive me now? Once I reach this magic, beautiful number on a scale, what's going to drive me? What's going to fuel me? What's going to keep me going to maintain a healthy perspective of myself and my weight, and mentally, emotionally, spiritually in all ways. Like, how am I going to keep going? And it was like, you have to help somebody else now. Now you have to share. That's really what was impressed upon my heart. And I did get confirmation about that. And so I was like, oh God, I don't want to talk about it, because it's sometimes it's very embarrassing. Sometimes it's emotional. Sometimes it's like, there's a lot of highs and there's a lot of lows. And to share that with people is like, oh my gosh, I don't know, because there's a lot of times we walk around and people don't know what we've been through. They don't know. They just see us, they meet us, and they think, oh yeah, she's nice or whatever. But they don't really know maybe the heartache that you've been through, the pain that you've been through, the rough times, the times where you've been humiliated or frustrated or angry or hurt. They might just see that smiling face and think like, oh yeah, she's great, she's fine. We all go through things, but I know that it's something that I've been supposed to do, and I really want to share it. I do also do coaching and inspirational stuff, and but I wanted to share who I am and what I've been through, so you can know that I didn't just read a book and, decide, hey, this is what I want to do, but I've actually lived it. I wanted to talk about first, I was going to start in 2016, it's 2020. And that's when I first decided that I was going to be serious about, trying to lose weight. And a little bit about me is I'm 5'3". Everybody wants to know. All women who are like, they see somebody who's lost a lot of weight, and I'm going to show you some before pictures and some after pictures. I'm 5'3", and I started off I never used to weigh myself, but when I finally did, I was 320 pounds. I know I was heavier than that though. I do. Don't ask me how I know, but I know. And my husband says, yeah, baby, you were. So we kind of estimated I was probably about 350 at some point. I actually, it's even hard to even talk about it sometimes, or think about it like, wow, what happened to me? And that's another thing that I want to talk about, because in order for you to sustain a success, or even to go forward, or even to start your journey, I think it's important to know the how and the why, because motivation and discipline go a long way. They really, 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 really do. But if you don't know really why, or you don't face the why and the how, it can be hard when the times get tough and it's hard and you're not losing weight and you're exercising and there's temptation and there's, so many things happen. A loved one dies, you lose your job, you lose a relationship that you really cared about. So many things are going to happen, and you have to keep going. You have to say no. You know what? And just seeing like this little thing on Instagram that says, you can do it, I believe in you, that might get you through one day, or maybe seeing a before and after picture of somebody and you're like, wow, oh my God, that's how big I am, or wow, that's what size I was. If they can do it, I can do it. And and then you also do those, you heard of those things where it's like, if you do something for 20 days, it becomes a habit, and you're like, yeah, I made it 21 days, and then something devastating happens in your life. How do you keep going? So it's important, even for me to keep going in my journey for a lifetime. I have to even go to that place within myself and say, how did I get there? Why did I get there? I may not understand completely. I may not know completely, but at least I can kind of get to that place where I start to go into that. So that's why I wanted to start before, and talk a little bit about my life, so that you can know that, and you see the pictures, because I'm gonna put them in there so you can see really quick. And yeah, so and now I'm currently 155. My goal is 135, and being short that's not unrealistic. And I also have had so many ups and downs these last 4 years with my weight, with my journey, with my transformation. And so it's really, really inspired me to share with you. So I was not an overweight kid. I started off, I guess, average. I wasn't skinny or big. I was always, but I was pretty like more stocky probably. Like I was like, I didn't look big, but if you tried to pick me up, you'd be like, whoa, she had her dinner. And so I didn't grow up with, kids teasing me or something like that. I've heard a lot of stories of people where, they were, big, even as, in elementary school. There was people who, really, and I didn't have that. I was, pretty average all the way through. It wasn't until I would say maybe 20 years old, I think I started gaining weight. I always had like a pretty, okay shape, nice shape or whatever. I was, and I'll go into my previous life a little bit later, but I had a pretty traumatic childhood and experience in life, and it contributed to me doing some external things that, weren't the best for me. Around 20, 21 years old, I actually said, you know what, this life is not for me. I've lived a hard life. I think I'm going to take a break from that. And so I did. And I really tried hard to change my life around, change the people I was around, change the things that I was doing. And once I did that, I noticed I started gaining weight a little bit. It was almost like I put something down and I picked up something else to replace it. And I noticed I started gaining a little bit of weight, but it wasn't, I still could wear cute clothes and still, because I was trying to think back, like, when did it start? When did I really have this, issue? And years went by, and then maybe like around 24, 25, I kind of noticed that I was like, man, I need to lose some weight. I'm wearing like larges, sometimes, extra large, and I'm kind of noticing that I'm gaining some weight. So, and I'm like not comfortable with it. So, I try to lose weight, just by not eating, basically. Not like I went and exercised or anything, because I didn't. And then I got into a long-term relationship. I ended up getting married, and within the first year of marriage, it was like I just started gaining weight. I was probably the happiest I had ever been in a long time. And people would say like, oh, newlyweds always, gain weight and they're happy and they, do all that. And so I was like, yeah, we're just happy and we're just eating in bed and, we're just gaining weight. It was not a big deal. And so it was like, oh, I'm just gaining weight because I'm happy and I'm married. It was like this, I kind of just kept like ignoring it. As long as I could still go buy cute clothes and still, then I had to start wearing like undergarments to help, keep it in, which, I was like, oh man, this is kind of whatever. And then I just kept gaining. And I was like, well, man, I'm happy in my life. I have, a really great relationship that I'm in. I'm, working. I'm doing things that I really love to do. Why am I eating so much? Why am I, it started like with late night dinners and like, then it went to, man, you know what? I would really like a donut, or let's order a pizza, and and before you know it, I'm in my 30s, and I didn't really pay attention to myself. I was busy helping, my husband. He was part of, a ministry, and he was doing a lot of stuff, and I was right there with him, and we were really busy, and we were like talking to a lot of people and doing a lot of things with people all the time. And we were always with a lot of people, always doing things, always busy, going here, going there, going here, going everywhere. And it was like, grab something to eat real quick, go to it was just, we ate on the fly. We just did so much. And I'll never forget, we started traveling, and we get on a plane, and I can't fit the seatbelt. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I can't, and I'm like, trying to like put the seatbelt on, and I couldn't clasp it on the airplane. And mind you, we were flying like halfway around the world, I think a 14 or 15-hour flight. And I was so embarrassed that I didn't even want to tell my husband. And I think I was I can't remember where I was on the plane, and I was like, hey, I can't get the seatbelt on. Because they kept coming around like, hey, put your seatbelt lights on, the seatbelt lights on. And I couldn't get it on. And I was so embarrassed. I mean, I was like, it was humiliating. And I wouldn't even ask. And I asked my husband, I'm like, can you ask them for what? And they're like, oh yeah, we have seatbelt extenders. And it was like all loud. Everybody knew, everybody around you. And that was like really one of my first times that I was like, oh my God, not only am I like wearing 2X, that should have been a good indication, right? And I was like, oh dang, I can't even fit on an airplane. And it was, you would have thought right there, that would have did something, but it didn't. And there was a couple years where we were traveling a lot and we were flying, and it got to the point where I finally just took one of the seatbelt extenders home. I think you can buy them, but it was a long time ago. And because I didn't want to have to keep asking for one, so I would just pack my little seatbelt extender in my purse, and when I got on the plane, I would just put it on when nobody wasn't looking, and I would just be like, and unless you've had that happen to you, you don't know how embarrassing it is. You don't know how, and then I just kind of brushed it off after that, kind of like, well, I know I need to lose weight, but, and then, what's crazy is like, maybe we were cleaning our garage out. I wasn't, but, and my husband comes running up the stairs and he goes, hey, look what I found. And I was like, what? Thinking he found something really exciting in the garage. You forget what you have. And he goes, I found the seatbelt extender. And I was like, oh my gosh. And just recently, I flew to Texas. And hi, everybody from Texas. And it was my first time flying where I didn't need an extender. And it was like so exciting for me because I was like, oh my God, I can just be like a regular, normal person, And so at that time I was probably in the 300s and I was in my 30s, and, clothing and all of that, you can go to there's a lot of plus size stores and a lot of, because it got to the point where I couldn't even buy clothes. For a woman, that's a huge deal, mostly. Some men like clothes too, but women usually really love their clothes. And, to get to the point where I couldn't even go like to Target or Walmart or to any regular, like just say you needed to pick up a t-shirt really quick. The 3X or the largest size they had wouldn't even fit me. It'd be tight, super tight. And then I would have to go to plus size stores and get their clothes. And it was like, man, I hated it. But it was like, I didn't know what to do, and people could be like, well, girl, just stop eating, like, stop, or just, but I didn't realize that I was in like a vicious cycle. It was like I ate when I was happy, I ate when I was sad, I ate when I was depressed, I ate when I was angry, I ate when I was excited. I wasn't one of those people that are like, oh, well, when I get depressed, I eat ice cream. I ate for everything. I didn't even have to have a reason. It was just part of me. And I was like, well, and when you get caught up in that and you're stuck in that for a while, it's like you don't even think about it anymore. It's just part of your life. And, it's like I see a lot of people who are like, really positive about being bigger now and body image and all of that kind of stuff. And, I think my text just came and that scared me half to death. One of the things that when you're in your 20s and your 30s, you can still do things. Like, I remember we went to London one time and my husband was like, Kat, are you going to be able to keep up with me? There's going to be a lot of people and we're going to get on the tube and, are you going to be able to keep up? And he was like, are you sure? Because I had my little carry bag and I was like, I got all like, what do you mean? I'm not going to be able to keep up, And apologize for all the booms. I talk with my hands and it's causing it to boom sometimes, and sorry about that. I'm gonna get this down to perfection, you'll see. So anyways, he was looking out for me because I was really, really overweight. I had a hard time walking and breathing at the same time, and for me to walk long distance and there's a huge crowd, he was worried about me. But I had so much pride and I was like, no, I'll be fine. And I was, only because I wanted to prove him wrong though. Like, so what? I'm a big girl and you think I can't carry my own bag and you think I can't make it. But I was tired, I was hot, I was uncomfortable, and I was miserable. And, and the point that I'm trying to get to is that, you can live like that for a long time and it becomes your normal. And you really, and that's why I wanted to talk about the how and the why. Because I described, just in my late, my middle 20s, I got married and then I started gaining weight and I don't even know why. But you know what? There was something going on. There was a lot of things that had happened to me in my childhood and I never really dealt with them. And I think I just internalized it. And then when things would happen, instead of dealing with it in a rational way or dealing with it in a way that, maybe I need to talk to somebody about it, or maybe I need to, vent to a good friend or something, or maybe I need to go have some meditation or pray or something. I dealt with it by just eating something and kind of getting some gratification and then forgetting about it. And it did me a lot of harm because it did, I ended up to the point where in one of my Instagram posts on Goldcoin, I hope you follow us on Goldcoin145 on Instagram, I talk about how I looked up because somebody mentioned to me about what's your BMI. I didn't even know what BMI was, and it stands for body mass index. And so I was like, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But the term morbid obesity, was right there in front of me on my screen next to the weight that I was. And when you read that you're morbidly obese, you know it already. But to have a term for it is like such an eye-opener in such a shocker, in such a, because I really believe that there was a lot of denial on my part. I knew. People were like, "What, girl, you didn't have no mirror?" I mean, I have one back there. Yeah, I had a mirror. Yeah, I saw myself, but I didn't really see. I didn't want to see. I didn't want to admit that I needed help, that I needed an intervention in my life. I was one of those people that I helped a lot of people, like, not in the sense of like, oh, I was Mother Teresa or anything like that, but I really cared about people. And I would give advice or suggestions or instruction, and you might be a person that you're a supervisor or you're a leader or you're a manager or you're over a lot of people, or even being a mom or being a dad, or even in your own family, you're the person that everybody looks up to. And sometimes you can be that person, and you're telling other people what to do and you're helping them, but you're not helping yourself. And I was that person. I was always like, okay, yeah, you did it, this is what you do, this is what you do, this is how you do it. Oh, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna call you every day at 7 o'clock, and I'm gonna help you to remember. And I was that person, but I didn't have that for myself. And maybe I was helping other people. It helped me to ignore, or maybe it helped me also to just, it's hard work having to change. And that's what the bottom line is. The bottom line is that no matter what you're going through and what you're doing, there's always room for improvement. And there's always that time to change. You can't go year in and year out the same, whether you're overweight, you're not overweight, or whatever the case may be. But I didn't want to change. I didn't want to face the pain of having to change my actions within myself. It was like, no, I'm used to this. I kind of like this, but really I didn't. Really I didn't. So one of the things that, we have to just face it. And you're not alone. You don't have to do it by yourself. I'm here for you. There's so many people that are probably really rooting for you, and you don't even realize it. Or maybe you do. Maybe you've had, somebody tell you, or and most people, I remember I had a friend, and they had a family member that was morbidly obese like me. And she was really fit and I was exercising, and she was like, man, I wish she would just listen to me, and I wish she would just, like I tell her all the time, just eat small portions, and come on, you can go walking with me. And she seemed to not respond. And it's, for me, when I heard it from somebody who experienced it, it made a big difference. It did, because I knew they knew the pain. I knew they knew the embarrassment. I knew they knew the rejection. I knew that they knew some of the things that I had been through. They had felt it, and they weren't coming from a place of like judgment, or they were coming from a place like, girl, I've been there. I know what it feels like. I want to be there for you. It's time for you to invest in yourself. And that's really what it comes down to. A lot of people it's all about self-care and self-love. And I'm always putting stuff like that too. And, do you really care? Do you really care enough about yourself to change? I'm going to share with you what I did. I'm going to share with you the support that I had. I'm going to share with you the support that I didn't have. I'm going to share with you the different techniques I use, the different methods that I use to get over a lot of things. I'm going to talk about the good things, the bad, and the ugly. Hopefully I don't cry. But it's an emotional thing. It's a very serious thing, and your health and what you decide to do with it really matters. It's not too late for you. You know what? Maybe you've lost weight and you've regained it, and you're like, wow, um, there's no hope for me. Yes, there is. I regained weight as well. There is hope for you. There is another chance for you. There is a place for you, and for me, I used to when I used to go to sleep at night, I would dream of what life would be and how it could be different. And sometimes I would cry. And my husband I thought he never knew, but he said, yeah, I knew you were crying. Because I was so frustrated, and I was like, man, I would see people around me, and I was so busy. Like I said, my life was very busy. It was very active and had a lot of people in my life. And usually, people probably said it behind my back, like, man, she's a big girl, dang. But they didn't say it to my face. And so it just helped in with the denial and the illusion that everything was okay. And not that I wanted people to come up to me and say, like, let's do an intervention. And I have another podcast that I'm going to do about a friend of mine who actually had enough love and grace and care to tell me. I had one friend who talked to me about my weight, and that was life changing as well. And I'm not saying go run out there and tell all your overweight friends, because it really has to be a special, special way that you won't really hurt and devastate that person, and maybe not have them as a friend anymore, right? Sometimes when you tell people the truth, they can't handle it, and they're like, forget you, I don't ever want to see you again. But they might not say it in those nice of words, you know what I'm saying, right? But I just have so much, and I'm so excited, and I know I gave you a little bit of variety today, but I am going to detail each podcast down to be on certain subjects and certain elements of weight loss, of transformation. I'm so excited, and I'm still on my journey. A lot of people start their podcasts or their YouTube videos when they first start. And I waited for 4 years because I wanted to have some experience under my belt, and I wanted to have something that was sustainable, something that was consistent. Because I know in the maybe middle of my journey, I used to follow a lot of people and watch them. And when they would go through their struggles and they would just give up and just start going crazy, it really messed with me, because you look up to people and you're like, wow, well, if they did it, I can do it. And when you see them struggle, sometimes it can cause you to go like, whoa, if they can't keep going, how am I going to keep going? And not that I haven't made it. I'm not this poster child for weight loss or anything like that, or poster woman for weight loss. But I have proven success over an amount of time, and now I can share my struggles as a learning block versus, I'm still in the middle of that. I have different struggles now at 155 than I did at 255. They're different. It's a different thing. It's a different kind of thing that I go through. It's a different mindset. I mean, and I want to go through each range. So I'm going to talk about how before, and then when I started, and then the different things that I went through as the months and the years went by, so that you, maybe not all of them, but you're going to find yourself and be able to relate and be like, okay. Because you might be where you're like, hey, I've lost already 100 pounds. I'll have that podcast for you. I remember when I actually got to what we call in the weight loss community Wonderland, it was like I was going to go throw a party, girl. Okay? I went to San Diego. I went dancing. I mean, I just had a celebration because I was actually under. Wonderland is when you're in the 100s. Even if it's 199.9, you are in Wonderland. And it is so exciting. So, I mean, you're at a different place than somebody who's just starting out. You can do different things that somebody who can't do when they first start, than somebody who's already at their goal weight and they're at maintenance. So there's so many different places and elements. I'm going to go ahead and end, but I just want to thank you so much. I pray that you would subscribe to my YouTube, to podcasting, to my Instagram, and share it to all your friends. And, just know there's somebody out there that is there for you, who's been through what you're gonna go through, or is right there where you are, almost to that perfect goal weight. And there is no such thing as a perfect goal weight. I will have to say that too. I know I said that magic number on the scale because I know a lot of people think that, hey, once I get to that magic number, everything's going to be great. Well, even after losing 165 plus pounds, there's not that magic place. You still are who you are. You still have problems. You still go through what you go through, but you're better at it. You've came a long way, and you can be proud of yourself. And you can truly say, I'm caring about me and my health journey, not just for a moment, not just for a couple years, but actually for the rest of my life. And that's what I look forward to sharing with you. So until next time, I will see you at Gold Coin, and that's what it's called, Gold Coin. Gold Coin 145 on Instagram. That was the only thing available. And my name is Kathy, and I will see you next time. And I really look forward to everything. And if you have a subject regarding weight loss and transformation, please let me know. And I'll be talking about, like I said before, the mental aspect, the physical aspect, the exercise, the food, what you go through, how, you deal with the relationship after you lose a lot of weight. There's so many, oh my gosh, we could write books and books and books and talk about it for so long. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of my experiences and just, share a little bit about who I am. And I'll continue to do that. See you next time.